all audible.
Hal Sparks.
Let's do this.
Well, here we are. It's my birthday, so I will cry if I want to, and that includes Chicago, which is apparently getting an echo.
Cry.
Of course it is, because I'm in DC. It's bound to happen. Invariably there's tech issues that I have to deal with, that Johnny has to deal with, that we both have to deal with, and
But the good news is that Hal is on the waiting list to surge into the Capitol this afternoon.
That's true. Yes, you have to sign up. We wanted to go yesterday, and the line was way too long. The thing is, everybody wants to go when Marjorie Taylor Greene is there. That's the hard part. So they're like, yeah, we know. So no matter what, and Chicago, you still getting an echo? You okay? I'm trying to check.
Check. Yeah, the echo's on us, so you sound fine. But when we talk to you, that's when the echo comes in, and the music was echoing.
Okay, I think I fixed it. It should be good now.
Yeah, it sounds better.
Excellent. See, look at that.
No, I don't hear them, but it doesn't matter. Don't change anything.
Oh, I'll send them to you. That's not a problem. You should though, because they should be readily available. I don't know why you're not hearing them, but either way. So all jokes aside, Marjorie Taylor Greene was on the steps of the Capitol screaming, invectives and obscenities at everybody as they tried to do I think it was just on the infrastructure bill. I think they were just doing a gathering on the infrastructure bill, and she struck them for doing a bill protecting abortion rights. While not caring if people are gorging themselves on horse paste, and still being pro death penalty. So I'm not quite sure what the pro-life statement means anymore. Really, no, honestly, I'm not.
I'm going to ask you a question I know the answer to. Is she okay?
She's more than okay. She's. I think it was what Carlin said. More than happy. Like, how can you be more than happy?
I'd be more than happy.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to do that. How can you really be more than happy? That sounds like something like, what happened to Jim? Well, he was doing fine. Then he got hit in the head, and now he's more than happy. Yeah, she's...
Have you seen the super chats in the YouTube for your birthday?
I have not yet, because I'm still fixing things.
The super chats are all in there as votes for what your real age is, and they're very creative.
Oh, all right. That's exciting. Let's
Hal
see.
Vickery threw out what is probably your real age, and then somebody else came into your defense with a strong 39.
Oh, thanks. That's very sweet. I will be in there.
49.99, which sounds like a bargain.
I will be in there in just 1 second, so that I can grab the studio in there. It's The fun part of being in this... Okay, there I see a chat. Hold on. The fun part of being in DC on my birthday is that it... I almost went into an accidental quoting of Spinal Tap. It's too much perspective. But happy birthday. Thanks. Now I see it. And thank you, guys.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
They love you.
They're amazingly sweet people. Guys, thank you so much. I'm overwhelmed. It's just beautiful. So where do I even start? Okay, playing on the screen behind me it's a perfect jump up. Yesterday, the results of the Arizona audit came out. Let's just jump right to it. And it leaked. Oh, everybody's going by my age. Oh, that's so sweet.
Wow.
Yes. This is the only time
I started something.
Yes, you did, and
Hal Vickery started it as usual.
Yes, because Hal Vickery is our beloved. That's why. So thank you guys so much. So yesterday we're I'm going to be totally just overwhelmed during the show. I should have just done a whole other. It's the birthday show and just play some music.
Yeah,
and,
just love me.
Yeah, right. Say that you love me. So it's an interesting perspective to be involved in. Going to being in and around the Capitol. Yesterday we are day before yesterday. We went down to the Capitol. It was nighttime. Went for a walk, and it was a gorgeous night and incredibly quiet. Like the weather is really beautiful here. It's a tourist space again in a lot of ways. Not huge crowds, obviously, probably largely because of COVID and other things, but pretty amazing. Just night walking around, Indian summer kind of thing, and it's just beautiful. And we're walking by the Capitol, and we can amazingly walk right up to it. We were at the back of the Capitol, and you can walk right there. I mean, there are gates around it that they put out, temporary gates, but nobody's stopping you from walking up because some people, a lot of the people in the Congress, staff and others, live in the area, and so cars are coming in and getting them all the time. People are coming up and with the dog and going, okay, we can walk the dog as we go home. Very normal human life stuff. It's pretty fascinating. And so we're kind of walking by there, and there's a big line of cars for God knows what. And then, like, the school bell rings, and all the kids start running down the back steps, getting in their cars and driving out. And it was apparently they had just voted on the defense authorization bill, and so they'd gotten it done, and they were like, "We're going home. We're done. We're just out." And that's what they did. And it was really fascinating because there were some cars parked right near us. We chit-chatted. Thank you, my love. Is that what I think it is? All right, excellent.
That's your tobacco spitter.
That's right. Yeah, it's just like my dad used to have. It's my cup for that. It's actually, I think, just as espresso. So fascinating. Because we were both up late. It's a holiday weekend. It's my birthday. I mean, obviously, at some point the nation will recognize it, but not now. And I'm not rushing it. I've got a lot more good to do. So we're kind of chit-chatting with some of the people that are coming down the stairs there. And it is amazingly cordial and kind of fun. And I now have a theory. I mentioned it to Summer. If you've ever been to D.C. or if you ever go to D.C., every jogger that passes you on the street is totally an extra in House of Cards that is on his way to be murdered for something that he shouldn't tell people about. Everybody here, everywhere, woman with baby carriage, they all look like CIA. It's just so funny because you have such an experience of DC from fiction that everybody who's just having their normal life running around here they're just, everybody looks suspicious. Just everybody.
Either that or like Captain America on your left.
Yeah, exactly. And so and then of course on a more sober side, we went to the COVID memorial, which has an enormous, and thank you for the super chats, guys. It's amazing. I'm getting a lot of $6.66 as to help us buy 666 Fifth Avenue. If you don't know, people donate to the show $6.66 in an attempt to build up enough. All we need is 1 billion of them, and we'll be able to do it.
MC Genesis just threw down.
Mm-hmm. Oh, beautiful. Thank you, guys. I need to open up the YouTube page so I can see them clear as day. So it is, and thank you guys ahead of time. It's just so amazing. Now, we went down to the COVID memorial. There's 684,000 plus flags there right now.
Yeah. That looks so crazy. I saw some pictures of it. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't picture 680,000 flags.
Sorry, what, babe?
My phone suggests that I call you birthday founding contact.
Oh, that's
you haven't
nice.
called me babe in a long time.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes, I was talking to Summer, but I will also call you babe. You know that, Johnny, when I call you babe, I have to point at you and wink.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
With some finger guns.
That's right. I got a finger. Hey, babe, listen, babe.
Listen, babe.
And I shave the E off, and it's more of a bub. It's babe, babe. Yeah. Or you're Anyway, so that you cannot walk around that thing. I couldn't, anyways, for more than a few minutes without just feeling like you were gonna break down and take a knee. Yeah. And most of them are blank white flags. A lot of them, are increasingly have things written on them. I posted about this on my YouTube channel yesterday, and it's, you know, people just writing a little story about who passed away, and it's a lot of like dads, uncles, veterans, people in the, you know, in the general area around here who've been able to do it in person versus people who are out in the States, but a lot of people, you know, visiting have come here and done it. It's brutal. It's a really rough, you know, emotional experience to see the cost of this, and I was, you know, saying this when we were walking through, the loneliness of it. By the way, that is a crane outside my window because it's making all that
awesome.
noise. Yeah, they're just trashing the street or something. My theory is that after the
I thought you meant the bird.
No, it was a giant machine. They are wrecking the streets around here, and my theory is I think they are putting automatic walls in the streets that can go up as barriers.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know why we don't already have them. We already have those little short ones to keep cars from going. They're gonna have bigger ones.
This needs to be touch of a button kind of stuff.
Yes, exactly. It's the nation's capital. It should fold up like a transformer, I think, and walk away. Like the next time a bunch of hicks show up with, you know, take your government hands off my Medicare for freedom, with a Gadsden flag and a.
If Matt Lauer has a button under his desk to lock the door,
right. We can have one to save the Capitol, right? We'll take a break. When we come back, a little more of my trip in D.C., but I have to talk about this Arizona recall thing because it's so funny.
Oh, we have to.
It's so
satisfying.
It's just a chef's kiss, gorgeous, because there's some of this stuff you have not heard on the news. They have not been talking about it. They talked about what was leaked early. I'll tell you when we come back. We'll be back. It's the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide, on WCPT Radio, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
I think I saw on the screen behind you that Texas is starting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're
doing the same thing?
Not quite. They're doing 4 counties, and there is only an interim Secretary of State, so the governor basically issued this kind of thing. And they're not gonna be able to hire cyber ninjas, so I don't know how this is gonna shake down.
I guess I should keep an eye on my phone. I mean, I might be available.
Yeah, you may be called in, right? That's entirely possible. And hi, chat room.
Just
Hi,
come in
everybody.
and look at them all disapprovingly.
Yes.
Really? Yeah, just walk around. Walking around, people dismantling voting machines. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
How dare you? Hold on, I'm just making sure. There you go. So
and it really seems like so many of these. Well, I should save this.
What?
Well, just that so many. Every time there's a recount, it ends up being worse for the person asking for the recount.
Oh, we'll get to that one because it's even better than you think. And by the way, thank you, Raymond, and thank you, Snow Hiker, for that birthday wishes, and thank you, Jill Carter, and here we go. And why would this not go? James, thank you so much, James.
60 guys.
Thank you. Every Margaret Trudeau work of fiction is titled "Murder in Somewhere in the D.C. metro area." Well, that doesn't freak me out or anything. Thank you, Hal Vickery.
But it's fiction. Those aren't documentaries.
Thank you, Pam. How do you know? I don't trust anything.
I guess not. That's right. Reject everything.
Yes. Question everything. Hold on. I have to scroll back. Oh, Benny Loco, thank you so much. And make sure.
It's madness. I can't keep up.
Thank you, guys. Snow Hiker says, I love Bad Brains. Well, that shows taste and breeding on your part, I think.
Yeah, Bad Brains is... Is he mentioning that because of their DC band?
Yeah. Thank you, Pliable Stats. Don't forget to thank your mama. Well, I don't have to be reminded of that because I started that tradition in my family because today is my mother's birthday as well. So I always... Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Attention, stop what you're doing. Because we're coming back to the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
I still can't hear Chicago.
They went a little crazy with it, and I appreciate it.
Now let's get back with Hal Sparks' radio
I
program,
would
Mega
act, but
Worldwide.
there's too many.
Welcome back. So much love going on in the chat room. I can't tell you guys how much I appreciate it. Just very, very sweet. Just everybody, just so lovely. Thank you. That's all I can say. And we've got. I think we already have a caller on the line, but so let's get the caller real quick, and then we'll jump in to the Arizona recount, because I want to make sure we get to this. So who do we have on the line, Chicago?
We got EO in the chat room.
EO in the chat room. EO, welcome. Electric Outcast for those of for the who's at home. Are you there?
Happy birthday, boss.
Oh,
Happy
thanks,
birthday,
man. Thank you so much. Thank you, EO. I appreciate it, brother. That's really sweet. I did not know that was you there, and I'm so glad.
Yeah, and I wanted to also give a heartfelt message. So,
Okay.
I've followed you ever since I discovered you on I Love the 80s Strike Back. I did not know that you were active in the 90s.
Right.
But you probably weren't safe. Your stand-up material probably wasn't safe for children back in the day.
No, definitely. It's still not technically. Still not technically. I'm just saying. Whoops, I doubled myself. Okay, go ahead.
But I was just saying that if I'd have found you a little bit sooner as a kid and your stand-up was safe for children, you would have been my Garth Brooks of stand-up comedy. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Thanks. I appreciate that, man. It means a lot, and it's great. It's been great to have you in and amongst our crowd for all this time as well. It. You know, every time I think of this, I think of the line in Smells Like Teen Spirit. Our little gang has always been and always will until the end. It's a group actually, but you know what I mean. But thanks so much, man. I appreciate it, and hopefully we will be back to doing live shows before long, and I can get down your way, and you know, we can go on the worldwide hug tour so we can see everybody post COVID.
Well, if you don't come back to St. Louis, at least come to Poplar Bluff, because that's where I'd be living. That's where I'll probably be living next year.
All right. Well, yes, St. Louis is probably the easier bet, but I will do everything I can to try and make sure that happens. So fear not. Excellent. Well, thanks for calling, brother. I appreciate it. And we'll make this a yearly thing, no matter what. Even when you call in at other times, we'll make this a regular birthday thing. We need our call from EO on the birthday. So thanks, man. Sorry, my iPad is falling over. My stuff is going crazy. I'm trying my best to try and organize my show in a hotel, and it's just sometimes it just doesn't want to play nice with me. It just does not. So, all right, let's get to the Arizona recount. Okay, so for those of you who haven't seen it, yesterday I live streamed the Arizona gathering of the state senate there with Karen Fann and Richard Nixon and the Cyber Nunchucks and Right Side Broadcasting Network being there, looking really bagged out, which was amazing. They apparently, and I think it had to do personally with the fact that someone had leaked the report the day before, and so everybody was, you know, what you saw in the news was that. Thank you so much for the super chat as well. What you saw on the news, there were some people going, well, we don't know. This is in the final. This is the draft report. We don't know for sure if this is how it's going. It's exactly how it turned out. There's no the folks that took 5 months to do something that they were supposed to have finished in 6 weeks, releasing a draft report the night before they're going to release it. They're not doing any extra work. There's no one in this crowd they're not like, yeah, dude, I just have a couple more things.
Big revision all night.
No, all they did was like finish it, go to dinner, and that was it. It opened with Dr. Shiva, the alleged inventor of email, talking about the statistical anomalies that pointed to the fact that there's just no way that this many people voted, you know, or what they voted for. It's just, just this dice rolling conjecture. It's ridiculous. And then they actually had the guy from Cyber Ninjas, who I've never really seen speak before this thing, gave his presentation in front of the thing. And probably the people went and said, oh, they found 99 more votes for Biden. What they didn't report on was the fact that Trump lost 241 votes on top of that, and Joe Jorgensen lost 206. And
so that's where the fraud was.
Oh, wait.
Losing votes means there was fraud.
Somebody was messing around with it. Well, where did that lie? Well, the big wind-up, the part of it where if you're watching it and you don't know, if you're watching this like, oh my God, they found something. If, you know what I mean? Where a moment where you'd go, hold on, I thought this was a joke. And now all of a sudden, they've discovered something serious in this. Was in the duplicate ballots. There were 33,000 some odd duplicate ballots for 17,000 some odd original voters. And in the duplication process, there was sort of a sketchy sleight of hand around a few hundred ballots where they got the same lot number or the same serial number on the page, or they ended up in the box together with the original and they shouldn't have. They should have only been separated into the duplicates box. Now, what do you think when you're following it up? When you're following up that statement, there were all kinds of sketchy things going on in the duplicates department. What do you think is the one thing that Trumpers do not want to hear you say after you've just set them up like, oh my God, this is it. We've discovered it. 30,000 duplicate votes. That's way more than we need. They obviously all, this is going to turn the election. The way you basically overinflate these tires and then knife them is say what he said, which was that the duplication process favored Trump in every way. So if anyone is going to be caught, if law enforcement is going to be brought into this, and they found that somebody was stacking votes on behalf of a candidate, the only thing the Cyber Ninjas found where there were votes that were unaccounted for, that were somehow in there that might have been counted, they weren't, by the way, all of those duplicates favored Donald Trump and gave him an edge in. So and it is not hard to believe that there would be some, Trump sycophant doubling up some votes, just every 10th one. I'm just making a duplicate and we'll just put those together and hide them in there and we'll count them.
It's the whole weird Machiavellian, I know it when I see it. I know that what I'm doing is right.
It's right, yes.
For the greater good.
It's okay if you lie for Jesus. That's what it is. It's not really a lie if you're lying for the Lord. And by Lord, I mean Lord Donald Trump.
Yes, sir.
This was the big gotcha. This is the big piece they were waiting for because the votes lined up. And by the way, all of the votes that they had and the state counted were identical. I mean, they were off by like 300 in their count, and it was based on judgment of whether or not they would have counted something or whether or not they would have kicked something to the curb. And in the case of Biden, they added 99 votes that they thought should have been counted. And in the case of Trump, they ejected 241 votes that they would not have said were legitimate. And again, Joe Jorgensen also padded in an odd way, 200 votes.
I forgot about that guy. I forgot about that whole thing.
Well, he was absolutely a factor in this, but and here's the. I don't know how many you could argue, I guess, that somebody could be faking Joe Jorgensen's votes to hurt Trump because it's an independent and whatever, but I don't know why they wouldn't just go and make Biden votes. You know what I mean? Right. If you're going to fake it, why, if you're going to walk up to the bell, ring the bell is how we look at it. We got to take a break. We'll be back right after this. It's a complete dud. And so you can understand why Texas would want to jump on this bandwagon and start just, drilling for oil in their own backyard. There are 4 cities that are they're going to dive 4 counties which contain the biggest cities. They're going to go into those because there must be a bunch of illegals. That's what it was. Bunch of illegals doing that. Thank you, Jay, for the super chats.
What it was.
Yeah. We'll be back right after this with more of the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide Birthday Edition. Pour moi. We'll be back. All right, waking up, getting it together. I'm having to I'm having to run the entire thing off of one computer, and getting Skype into the streaming software and getting your voice to Chicago and Chicago's back to you and all that kind of stuff without creating horrifying loops is always the tooth pull. Yeah. Is that you? Is that from your end, music?
Yeah.
Nice. Celebrate Hal's birthday, come on.
I don't know how I turned into chicken.
There's a subway going on right here. Sorry. We're going to the symphony tonight. Summer got me tickets to the symphony for my birthday.
Nice. What are they playing?
Scheherazade.
I don't know what that is.
It's a big to do. It's actually, there's three different conductors. It's like an opening, a middle, and the big band. And Scheherazade's a giant piece, 4-part piece. I don't know who the composer is initially, but anyways, it's very exciting. It was just, we were limited on what we could actually do while we're here, and that seemed like the most kind of.
Going to the Kennedy Center.
Yeah, we're going to the Kennedy Center. Thank you, Thomas. Oh my gosh, happy freaking birthday. No, thanks. You guys. So sweet. This is
it's a little ridiculous.
Don't forget to subscribe to the show. If you're not, thank you, Paige. Oh, that's awesome. Don't forget to subscribe, everybody. I don't know that we're going to hit 25,000 by the end of today, but that would be lovely. Share the show. I mean, Johnny won't subscribe to the channel because he's just mean that way. But everybody else, I'm kidding.
That's very cute that you would say that, but I've already subscribed, and I'm subscribed to your Twitch.
It's true.
I get 3 notifications a day that you're going live, and I'm like, Jesus, this guy, he's insane.
He's everywhere. Thank you. He's everywhere. Let's see. Oh God, this is so. There we go. I mean, this was a good week.
Attention.
Really
Stop what you're doing. Because we're coming back to the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
Oh my God!
They went a little crazy with it, and I appreciate it.
Now let's get back with Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
You know, I have to say, overall, as birthday weeks go, this one's been pretty darn sweet. First of all, I'm with my love, and we're in Washington, D.C., and that's a lovely thing. I get to see your beautiful face, Johnny, on the weekend, on the actual day.
Yeah.
And as we're here, first, Biden gives me the gift yesterday of not protecting Trump with executive privilege, which is just adorable.
That's the best.
Oh, it's so good. And hold on, I think I froze you up on here because I was gonna try and play Brett Baer calling Arizona for in Chicago. I don't know if you can find that. You can find it on it's on Twitter and Raw Story. Brett Baer of Fox News calling Arizona for Biden again, and just like he did last time, by the way. You know, he was the guy who actually did it before and caught so much heck. But so this week, Trump's not getting protected by executive privilege. 4 subpoenas go out to Steve Bannon and company, all of whom are they're going to have to answer these subpoenas. They're not going to be able to have Trump protect them and keep them from showing up. What
It
else?
isn't the consequences of my own action.
Action, right. Look who's at the door, honey. It's karma. And then, of course, yesterday the Cyber Ninjas bury their story in the afternoon on a Friday. If you couldn't tell, it was gonna stink. The fact that they didn't have it, wait till Monday to set the week off. You know what I mean? Like there was so much choice news this week. Let's see. Maybe you guys can hear it if I play it on here.
Oh, Trump is suing his news for $100 million.
In Arizona,
Yeah.
that audit that had been talked about.
Hold on. Let's see if I can. I'll bring this up on here. I think you guys should be able to hear it.
Okay.
On this one. Wish me luck.
Came out today.
Hold on. I've got it. Does that sound all right?
Yeah, it sounded great.
Great. Here you
A
go.
report on the 2020 presidential vote in Arizona, that audit that had been talked about, came out today. That report indicates, according to reports there on the ground, the review of more than 2 million votes in Maricopa County, Arizona, confirms that President Biden's win in the county and the state was in fact a win. The tally in the document showed a net gain of 360 votes for Joe Biden over the official results. As we get more from Arizona, we'll bring that to you here.
Yeah. What? And by the way,
That was Fox News, right?
That was Fox News. That's Brett Baer, Fox News. Oh, it's just
His hair was slowly sliding off of his head.
Right. Yeah, he was just melting like one of the Nazis at the end of Raiders. Like he'd stared into the arc. Right.
And the whole time in the back of his mind, he's like, so this is what it's like to be a news reader, to
Right.
actually present news.
This is what the truth feels like. Ew. And my mic might be a little hot right now too. So do I always have to fix to try to drive this? Oh, I see. It self-regulates. It's maybe a little bit. Okay, there we go. So for me, this has been across the board a pretty great week. Now we're looking at Monday. They're bringing the bipartisan infrastructure bill to a vote in the House. There's a lot of wailing and gnashing of teeth about whether or not progressives will, stomp their feet and hold their nose and refuse to vote for it because they don't think they're going to get the $3.5 trillion package. There's, the Republicans sort of pressing to use the reconciliation vote that the Senate has on, instead of on the $3.5 trillion package, they want them to use it just to raise the debt ceiling. Now, the interesting thing is, you attach the debt ceiling to that $3.5 trillion package, you're kind of that's game, set, match, one would think. I mean, it depends on how much pressure they actually feel, because a lot of people might feel like, oh, well, I'm not voting for that giant thing just because it has that associated. We need a separate bill, and there's that wailing for a week, right? Hopefully, let's see, sonically, we're okay, better, okay. This has been a good week. Next week will be a lot of wailing and gnashing of teeth, but the reality is that, in my opinion, both of these bills are going to get passed. The $3.5 trillion bill will probably be closer to 3.1, but by the time all is said and done, one of the tricks might be, and I've told you guys this, I mentioned this early on, I don't know why people don't listen to me.
And you know what, Hal? I'm going to start.
Oh, thanks. It's as good a time as any, as a
I'm
birthday
going to
present.
Start any day soon.
Because again and again, and about the Cyber Ninjas thing, the one of the other big reveals they had was that there were 74,000 votes that everybody was clamoring about that were they were mailed out but never, or they were received but they were never mailed out. Oh my Lord! They mailed. How do you receive something in the mail that was never sent out in the first place? Well, it's because people walked into the early voting offices. They print out your what would be mail-in vote. You go fill it out, put it in the envelope, and hand it back to them. And some of the recorders make you put it in the envelope and sign the envelope. And other ones just say you can hand your ballot in one of the other.
You can't make me. Oh, sorry.
The ballot envelopes that they give you at at the polling places, so in some cases. So you can get either one. And so there's a little bit of variance in that it's discretionary to the states and to the counties, and it doesn't make any difference in the overall vote at all. 74,000 votes, and those are the ones, by the way, that Trump was saying that, what beyond the duplicates, which again we know favored him, the 74,000 mystery votes. How do you get ballots that were never mailed out? Clearly they were printed in China on panda poop and mailed in. And it turns out those were the ones that people walked in and said, I would like to vote early. I don't trust Louis DeJoy. They were largely Democrats, as most of the people who voted by mail were. And that counts for that entire number. And in the middle of the presentation yesterday in Arizona, wouldn't you know it, Cyber Ninja's head, Fred Skimpledimple. I don't know what his name is. I don't care.
Wait, say it one more time.
Fred Skimpledimple. That's what I'm going to call him.
I think that's it. You're saying it just
right. John Boy Walton.
With the H. Gotta pronounce the H.
Walton. Yeah.
Walton.
One of the big things he brought up was this, obviously one of the things people were drawing a lot of attention to was the 74,000 votes and like, how can they put it? And he reiterated this again. It was almost as if he was teeing it up just to mess with the Trumpsters and maggots in the audience.
Yeah, to get them all excited.
Yeah, just like, oh, here comes 74,000 votes. This is that. And then he just kneecapped him again going, and then we of course got a letter from the Secretary of State's office that these are obviously people who came and walked in person and did their voting in person. So that didn't really turn out. And everybody's like, you could just
I've been copying and pasting this in Facebook for so long.
Yeah, Fred Scrimpledimple. That's the dude from Cyber Nunchucks. He's the chief CEO of Cyber Nunchucks, and he does Cyber Ninja Stars. Doing. Every time this guy brought up one of the biggest conspiratorial things, what everybody was waiting for bated breath to hear about, he would lead in with all the "this is suspicious." It's really and what you realize after a while of listening to him is that he is justifying the waste of time and waste of money.
Right. Yeah.
He's basically saying to the state senate of Arizona, this is why people were a little upset, or this is why people thought this needed to be looked into. They came to me, okay? I didn't come up with this stuff. They came to me and begged me to take on this job, and so we did. But this is the reasoning behind it. Watching that kind of like rise and fall, as it was just a joy in and of itself. And now they're going to do the exact same thing in Texas. And I got news for you, folks. That's going to be just as fun.
Yeah.
That is going to be like that. When they go through Texas, they are going to, I'm calling it right now, add Biden votes in every county. Because there are sections of every county that are very, they're mostly Republican anyways, but there's sections of those counties that are extremely Republican. And if anybody was sidelining mail-in votes or bad signatures because they're like, yeah, I don't think this one's real, and erring on the side of getting rid of as many mail-in votes as possible, It was Texas. Tell you what, Cyber Ninjas, after your fine work in Arizona, can I interest you in Ohio, Florida, and Kentucky while you're at it?
Yeah.
Because Kentucky has a Democratic governor, but magically Mitch McConnell running away with it. Do I think it's going to change the outcome of the election? Or no? Do I think it's going to, would it be a statistically significant number to maybe give one of these states electoral votes to Biden? And by the way, if just one of them, let's just say, I mean, it's obviously not going to change the election at all.
But that would be amazing.
But if
just one more.
Oh, if they did, he made them go into Wisconsin and Ohio and Michigan and Pennsylvania and everything stayed pretty much the same. And there was like 100 votes here and there. But one of them, just one of them was like
for Trump.
Oh, actually, yeah, one of the Trump Electoral College votes. And by the way, this could absolutely happen. This is I don't doubt that there's a level of chicanery in some of these states, on the Republican side, that just where they're just locking down.
I love a good chicanery board, by the way, with some nice dried meats.
Yeah, and some dehydrated fruit, some cranberries. Sorry, cranberries. I always mispronounce it when I'm around you. I apologize. I do think there is a genuine possibility, personally, that if they really dug deep on one of these states, that where it was, it seemed like a sound Trump, run of it, yeah. That if they really started digging, you'll see, and this is what happened in Arizona. You'll see Republicans refusing to let this happen. Republicans refusing, like, no, don't, no, please don't look into the, why not? We think Biden got some extra votes here, and we think that's why Trump lost the popular vote, is because of all these fake votes in our state. No, guys, please don't. Why? Because you're going to find out that Trump actually lost a state. Like that. Yeah. That's what it reeks of. In any of these states where you've got Republicans pushing back on these things in the Republican states, it just reeks of they believe there was fraud, but to benefit Trump. Now, do I think they were able to concoct an amount that would have, made a huge difference? Was it, in the hundreds of thousands of votes or even tens of thousands? No. I think it was pitiable attempts. But the line to the people in there who were like, every little bit counts, might be just enough. We got to take a break. We'll be back right after this. It's the House Sparks Radio program, Megaworldwide. And thank you, by the way, oh my gosh. Dead Sea Genesis, thank you so much for the super chat. And Thomas Major, thank you as well for saying happy freaking birthday on the super chats. You guys are so wonderful. I can't tell you how much I appreciate this. This is very sweet. It's very heartwarming. We'll be back right after this. I'm gonna get all like teary-eyed because of all the super chats and everybody wishing happy birthday and stuff in there.
It's a little ridiculous.
It's lovely. These are like right side.
It's not ridiculous. I mean, these people are insane. That's what I'm trying to say.
Quit
There's
it.
something really wrong with all these people
Quit
ignoring you.
No, it isn't.
You're a little too aggressive with that, Johnny.
Excuse me. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I have been doing this show for free for over a decade.
Yeah. As long as we can do it.
Yes.
I kid.
Johnny doesn't think I'm worth it.
Johnny.
Like you believe me for a second.
Hold on.
Oh my God, people are piling on.
They're just beating you up. Thank you.
They're all like, "What are we doing?"
Oh no.
It's like the big turn. Like we can't break up the Trump.
Poll shows
cult.
Matthew McConaughey has a 9% approval rating over Abbott. Can you imagine? I didn't know he was serious about running. You, the mayor of LA. This all sounds great to me. Yeah, it can happen. Yeah. Thank you. The interesting thing about the governor of Texas and the mayor of Los Angeles is that they are kind of thank you, Bob. They are kind of hamstrung in the same way because the state legislature of Texas has a lot more control than the governor does, and the city council of LA has a lot more
I know I'm only on one day a week. I get it. I'm gonna have to jump on GarageBand and start sawing something together. This is the House Sparks Show. Wow. And the guitar note, and then with progressive. And all. Yeah, it's going to be good.
Hey, Hal, did you mean something like this?
This is the House Sparks Show. Wow. And the guitar note, and then with progressive. And all. Yeah, it's going to be good.
The Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Welcome back to the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide. We're here every Saturday, 9 to 11 Central Time. Or sorry, I don't even know where I am. I'm East Coast right now. Pacific Time, 11 to 1 Central, noon to 2 in Washington, D.C., where I am right now. And I am a block away from MSNBC's offices and the C-SPAN offices. We walk by there every day when we're walking to the Capitol from the hotel we're at. And it was so funny because there's a little grill in the building. This is a little inside baseball, but when I was on Talk Soup, everybody at Talk Soup ate at the same places. There were two places. There was this like restaurant in the building, and then there was Kate Manalini's Marie Callender's across the street, and that was it. Like you ate at one of them because you didn't have time to go anywhere else. That's just the closest thing or whatever. So
I like the Marie Callender.
Yeah, it's kind of the flagship Marie Callender. It's all old wood and stuff. It's a very fancy looking one. It's the Morton's steakhouse of Marie Callender, and then there was there's a Baja Fresh if you're really in a hurry, right? But everybody who's on Talk Soup or worked at E, basically, if you want to see some E celebrities, just go to those areas around lunchtime, and they're gonna come by at some point. Might not be one day, but it'll be the next. Believe me, it's gonna happen. And you like to think that that celebrities or politicians, well-known people, are in a different category of everybody else. So they hop out and get in a limo, and then they limo to a really fancy place for lunch, and then they come back just in time to show up late for work and go, "It's my show. I can do what I want." But in reality, everybody's kind of pulling together as a team as fast as you can, and lunches are done in a big hurry. And so you can tell that most of the people that work at MSNBC and on the morning shows there or whatever get their coffee from the corner bakery across the street and or go to this little grill, and you could just tell by walking by, right? And it was fascinating because we walked past there a couple of times. And they cut to footage of Garrett Haake on MSNBC when we gotten back to the room, walking along beside Nancy Pelosi, asking her, is this going to happen? And she's like, "Trust the process." That little quote that everybody's using of her. That's in front of that little grill at C-SPAN MSNBC's building right over here. I mean, I would have never known where that was up until this trip, but I know, it's literally, you'll see that clip, they'll play it again, because it's in their promos. She's walking by, this place, and it's somebody, McCarthy's Grill or something like that. It's like
she's got a big turkey leg that she's gnawing on.
That's right. Yes, absolutely. She's got a giant purse full of fries, gravy fries, with poutine on them. It's a very mixed bag at that restaurant.
It's Renaissance fair food and Canadian food.
That's all they do, right? Yeah, exactly. And you can't come in without a mask, or a veil will work just as well, or an entire suit of armor.
Or a suit of armor, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, you have to dress as any character in Heath Ledger's First Night. So I think that's the movie it was in. Anyways,
yeah.
So, but it was fascinating to just see that place, and then kind of the inner workings of this place, because I've always been, I'm one of those people. I've always felt like a bit of an outsider in Hollywood. You come from Kentucky, then you go to Chicago, then you, 18 years old, go to LA to strike it rich in the entertainment industry. And considering how many people try that kind of thing and how well I've done, I'm patting myself on the back, for actually making it through, right? But I've always felt like, maybe it's just kind of the sort of blue collar aspect of the arts in Chicago, which I really love, is there's this, nobody feels really special. Everybody's just there to work, and it's kind of a camaraderie. And in LA, there's a lot of who's hot and whatever, which is very different. So you feel kind of like stiff-armed from that Kardashian world of what people accept as Hollywood in that regard. DC, I've always felt a little bit of that as well. Although I do know for a fact that some of our elected representatives and folks listen to the show and watch the live stream on occasion. People in their households watch regularly, and this gets back to me from other sources. And so I'm like, oh, no pressure. But there's a fascinating part of just being in DC, and knowing that that's the case, and knowing that I'll be, I did my live stream yesterday, and I'm right here, in a hotel nearby, and somebody a couple of buildings away has, got my show up on the TV in their office, that I'm live streaming from a hotel, a few blocks away, just talking about this Arizona recount and just laughing right along with me. It's such a lovely thing. I was telling Summer yesterday, and this kind of wraps into the whole birthday aspect of things, is that the clips that we share of my regular live stream and the stuff that we talk about on here, and then some of the stuff that just gets away from us and just becomes so funny as a regular thing, like our 5 eggs chant and our the other things that have come up over time, and the discoveries of Trump's curious word usages, as Steve Martin would put it, that knowing that somewhere separate from what I'm doing, like I've finished the show for the day, I'm doing some kind of perfunctory work afterwards, or I'm watching or reading something, because I'm like currently reading Peril in whatever gaps of time I can find, the book about the January 6th and the post-election stuff in the Trump White House. And in doing that, like it's really wonderful to know that hundreds, if not thousands of miles away at any given time, somebody is stumbling on one of these clips of us laughing about 5 eggs, or Trump doing his shimmy when he says denuclearization and laughing about it, or talking about the Q-Snatch software, which is a real thing from
Q-Snatch?
Yeah, that's the software that was apparently used to steal votes.
And arousing the economy.
Yes, that's right. Yes, arousing the economy and keeping it aroused. Act says, how you share your birthday with Mark Hamill? I know, he's my birthday brother. I will send him a message after the end of today's show, as I often do. It's how we became Twitter friends, actually, years ago. It's how he ended up kind of following in the circle of, we ended up following each other because we share a birthday. Will Smith, still no good. Barbara Walters, I don't know what the hang up. What's the hold up, Barbara?
They share your birthday too?
Yes, they do. Christopher Reeve did as well.
What's his problem?
Yeah, really, he won't return my phone calls at all. That's terrible. He is my only Superman. He's as far as I'm concerned. Tip of the hat to Brandon, who was handed a bad gig. But the Superman is Christopher Reeve. Michael Douglas as well. That's true. Yeah. We're just going. We'll just name all the folks that I share a birthday with on today. It's a good one. It's a solid one. And my mother, which is crucial to the whole thing. She's
Johnny Louise Million. My go-to scolding middle name is Elizabeth. Johnny Elizabeth Million.
Yeah. Louise is what Stephanie Miller uses all the time. She always throws it in Louise. Yes. So that's where you'll hear that from. Steph heads all use Louise when they do that kind of. I just got my first name. You know this. Hal. That was it. I never got a whole.
Answer me. Yeah, Dad.
Yeah. It just saved me from that part of it. Okay, so we do have news to cover today, beyond the fact that it's my birthday.
Are we on the air?
Huh? Yeah, we still are. Yeah, we're not just having a chit-chat in general.
I was like, when are we coming back from break?
Oh, right, because, no, we've been back this whole time. It just feels like, because it's a birthday show. It's a little more relaxed than usual, I'm on vacation, technically. The interesting thing is, I would have been completely within my means, I suppose, to do a best of today or something along those lines.
Yeah, I was wondering.
But I wanted to hang out. I wanted to see everybody. And yesterday was so funny. There's no way not to. Yeah. So, anyways, we're at the bottom of the hour. We got a break for the news. We'll be back after this. It's the House Sparks Radio program, Megaworldwide on WCPT Radio, Chicago's Progressive Talk, Infotainmentwars.com. Like and subscribe. We're almost at 25K. We're so close. Today is the 25th. It's my birthday, where I'm 52. Let's see how the numbers fold over. It's a special one. I'm just saying. Look at that. It's just kind of.
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
It's incredible. We'll be back. So, So I'm going to try, I want to find the, whoa. Whoa. Just look at, there's a news story just came up in my feed that this couple in Riverside, California was busted with enough elephant tranquilizer to kill 50 million people. It's carfentanil, which is a more potent version of fentanyl, only used to put cars to sleep for major surgery. When you get your carburetor taken out, it's a painful process. You don't want to be awake during that. It's 10,000 times more potent than morphine and 100 times more potent than fentanyl. At what point do you just not sell arsenic?
Yeah. What a tightrope of trying to get high.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to find the... Hi, chat room. By the way, I haven't forgotten about you. I'm just looking up a story. Let's see. There it is. This will have most of the info on it. Oh god. Just any story where you have to look at Steve Bannon is just awful.
Oh, he's so rough.
Yeah. So, thank you. Oh, sorry, hold on one second. Let me go to. Thank you, Debbie. And thank you, Foozlebean. Thank you, Al, for the laughs, the information, and the community you've created. Thanks so much. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. I'm quite proud. I keep hearing the alert box, but I don't see it on here. So, yeah, I'm not going to be able to add it in this version. I apologize, folks, because I would like to have the alert box up, but I'm running on very limited bandwidth, and if I throw a browser source in here, it will. I'm afraid it will be the last straw. So, don't warn the red hats to not take elephant tranquilizers. They'll blame you for making them take them. Yeah, exactly. Grizzly Bannon. Poop Pal didn't see my note. Corinne, I did see it, didn't I? Hold on. I will. Give me 1 second. YouTube Studio. I don't want to go to the YouTube. It doesn't. I don't. It's not helpful. It's not working. I don't like it. Why in the world? Yesterday's show, by the way, was called Trump's Electile Dysfunction. Sometimes.
I do like, because on all of my suggested viewing things or all of your live streams, and I see all your ridiculous titles.
Mm-hmm. It's sometimes it's hard to come up with one that kind of
sure,
that works. But let's see, switch again. Oh, there we go. Hold on. Go away. Don't turn that. Thank you, moms. Thank you. Happiest of birthdays to you, Hal Sparks, and Mama Sparks too. No problem. Thank you. Al Sparks, I love you. Please do a man bun. All right. Yeah, like Harry Styles or something. Just put it up here.
Well, put it on top of your head.
Huh?
I'll give you that birthday due.
Summer's gonna give me a birthday due. That sounds naughty.
It does.
We are in a hotel room after all. I mean, I can't speak for. The big question is, am I or am I not wearing pants? Sorry. Robert, thank you so much. Cheeky man buns, right?
I can answer.
Huh?
I can answer that.
No. Don't give it away. I suppose the way to tell is if I had to go somewhere, if I leave
Back in
normally, or if I skulk off sideways, slightly dipping.
Like do a little crab walk.
Yeah, that's right, out of view. I do have a live audience right now.
Many buns.
It's interesting because I think Summer is the only live audience I've had for the live stream, because yesterday you sat through a whole episode. We're coming back, Johnny. I hear Chicago.
Sparks radio program, Megaworldwide.
I've had people walk out of me before, but not when
I was being so charming.
Video streaming at howsparks.com.
I don't care for you or for the people
Sludge you're troweling out. Pimp stick.
Might be a good time for you guys to give up.
I can't tell you how happy it makes me to have clips from Dragnet in my opening. You know, the old lady, yeah. Like Edith Borden, yeah, is the old lady who gets her white wedding dress stolen to put on the Virgin Connie Swale before she's thrown into the toxic pit with the giant Bolivian jungle snake. It just and when they go and ask her to describe Emil Muzz, it's just that scene alone. You can see where the root of Betty White's naughty talk trend came from. Was from that movie. Of course, written and from the mind of, as far as an adaptation goes, Dan Aykroyd. Just great stuff. Welcome back to the show, by the way. We're having a relaxed kind of a Saturday show because honestly, so much stuff happened this week. Can I just, if I may, point of order, Mr. Chairman. The select panel investigating the January 6th insurrection is issuing subpoenas to 4 current and former top aides to President Donald Trump, including his most recent chief of staff, Mark Meadows. The committee issued its first subpoenas on Thursday to Meadows, former Pentagon official and longtime House Intelligence Committee aide Kash Patel, his first name is Kashyap. His first name, it's Kashyap. There's a yap. There's a YAP on, but they call him Cash. Yep. I'm just saying, somebody named Kashyap Patel, I would expect to be arrested in relation to a Matt Gaetz case. I'm just saying, right? Yeah. So anyways, former top White House advisor Steve Bannon, which in and of itself is an ironic and disgusting statement. Top White House advisor. Interesting enough, top White House advisor, but how you know you've hit bottom in life is if you've run into Steve Bannon. And longtime Trump social media chief Dan Scavino. It marks a turning point in the investigation as lawmakers begin homing in on Trump's effort to overturn the 2020 election results. Benny Thompson of Mississippi had foreshadowed Wednesday that the first subpoenas would go out imminently as the panel kicks into high gear with the goal of finishing its work by next spring. The 4 Trump associates will be commanded to produce relevant documents by October 7th and appear for depositions the following week. This is going to be so fun. Now, they're going to punt, they're going to fight, they're going to file lawsuits, they're going to file it in courts that have Trump-appointed judges so that they'll drag them out. But ultimately, there is no reason why they can avoid these subpoenas. It is literally just delay. Hence the whole I want to finish by next spring.
This is law enforcement.
Yep. This is, law and order. Hashtag law and order. It's hashtag law and order, Johnny. In a statement released shortly after the subpoenas were issued, Trump lashed out. Does he have any other way of communicating these days at all? Doesn't he just lash out for a living? Isn't that, he should just call his website The Lash Out. I think we got a new patron as well. I recognize the sound, but I can't see the app. But thank you. We will bless you for that. We will fight the subpoenas on executive privilege and other grounds for the good of our country. And he derided it.
Didn't Biden just say he probably wasn't going to allow
executive privilege to cover for it? Yeah. It won't work. It's executive privilege is only the purview of the executive branch as it stands. Hence the idea that Trump was talking about stuff that he was going to declassify while he was president about the JFK and Nixon and aliens and blah, blah, blah. that the conversations in the White House about any of those things, Trump technically, while he was president, had the ability to declassify and not exert executive privilege on any of those things. And now Biden has that power, which is Trump's worst nightmare. Hence, by the way, the clamor to get him reinstated, because somebody has told him this. Somebody has, told him specifically, like, yeah, you're all in, Biden. You have to throw yourself on the mercy of Joe Biden at this point. Hundreds of those charged in breaching the Capitol on January 6th have cited Trump's false claims about election fraud as a motivating factor for their decision to travel to Washington, D.C. ahead of what turned into a violent attack. By the way, the gates are still up in front of the Capitol. They may be coming down this weekend. Today was also the second day. We will walk around in a little bit, and I will report back if there's a second Septeenth, as we called it last week. But no sign that there would be. It's brutally normal here for anybody who is a Trump sycophant. Things are in DC are running painfully normally, and probably that points to why you've got Marjorie Taylor Greene freaking out as much as she is on the steps. Besides the fact that she's she has no other venue. She just has to freak out in public. Right, and she's still, according to as recent a calculation as I could find, she's still the member of Congress that raises the most money for Republicans nationwide. Talk about madness. Yeah, it's crazy. Which is, by the way, why Matt Gaetz wanted to tour around with her to kind of gin up his money. Numbers. Yeah, exactly, and he's going to need a lot of it for lawyers. So, Thompson and other committee members indicated that they would issue immediate subpoenas to those they felt would be recalcitrant, meaning that these are so that they know they're going to fight them, but they can only fight them for so long. So instead of waiting and issuing them later after they've gotten the people that they know they can get to come in, they'll issue these. They'll put them on the calendar to show up on those dates and get materials. They'll subpoena other people probably next week, and then take advantage of, guess what? You're coming in, on the 14th or the 15th, whenever they have the week of actual panels. So the next 2 weeks are going to be brutal for the Trump organization, and because it's not just Trump's own, the subpoenas related to the January 6th insurrection or his post-election chicanery. Mr. Chickadance. They also, the judge orders the Trump organization to address the subpoenas that the New York Attorney General has put forward for company records. A New York judge has ordered the Trump organization to submit a report next week to the New York Attorney General in an effort to resolve a long-running dispute over subpoenas or records according to an unsealed order. The Trump organization, by September 30th, shall provide a report in reasonable detail of actions taken to preserve, collect, and produce hard copy and electronic documents responsive to the OAG subpoenas. This is just going to be a brutal week in Trump world. Yeah. Now, there was a lot of, in dealing with the Arizona stuff, Rachel last night read I think it was in the Washington Post, but an op-ed by a conservative thinker about this is basically the end. Our democracy is in total peril because Trump is not going to behave on any of these things. He's going to run in 2024. His own people. He's got an iron grip on the Republican Party, and it's just there's no way out of it. And the response is going to have to be swift and brutal to get this guy, to solve the conundrum of Trumpism in the modern era.
Was this like a call to action from this guy, or
basically
soothsayer?
Okay. I think it's a little bit of both. And thank you, Robin, and thank you to our new patrons. Thanks for joining. Patreon.com/HalSparks. Great way to support the show. I'm just saying. I often outrun my lips when I speak. I will do that because my tongue is far faster than my. Thank you for responding. So. He was basically warning everyone that this is and Steve Schmidt was on Rachel last night saying, Donald Trump is a very dangerous person to the world, and we've got to get him out. Whatever his very strange Steve Smith voice. And here's my thing: do we have to address the kookier elements of the Republican Party and the January 6th insurrectionists and that crowd to prepare ourselves, for them not creating some other violent act? And I don't think it'll be on the Capitol ever again. I think you're talking about state capitals that are in danger. The Governor Whitmers of the world are going to be facing action from these folks. Is it true that the Republican Party is in the total grips of Trumpism? And is Trump going to run in 2024? I'm calling it right now that he's not, because he has to separate himself from his super PAC, and he won't be able to take that money anymore the minute he announces that he's starting running, which would be in 2023. And he'll, somewhere in late 2023, he's going to have to announce that to get that ball rolling, and he won't get to keep that money anymore, and he needs it because he's broke, because he owes a lot of money, and his brand is it's a bunch of fung pee at this point. There's nothing to it. It's worthless. His name's getting taken off of buildings.
Yeah, who's going to scramble to put his name on anything?
Right. It is worthless in that regard. And if they do anything, they'll launch a bunch of extended stay Trump hotels, on that level throughout the Southland and through, the red states, maybe, right? But yesterday he said he won't run if there's a medical reason. Yeah, that was somebody, CB in the chat brought that up. That was one of the outs that the guy in the op-ed said. But barring a medical reason, Trump won't run. Mm. Well, Trump has a lot of medical reasons not to run. And the idea that he's the sharp Trump of before is an absurdity. And for all the clamoring about Biden, slipping mentally, we will see tonight. Obviously, Trump is going to have a rally tonight. I will be covering it Monday on my live stream.
Yeah, I was hoping that you wouldn't cover it tonight. Not on your birthday night.
Not on my birthday. No. I have some dignity. But I will go through it on Monday. We'll go through the whole speech and break it down and all that kind of stuff. But this is not the guy that ran in 2015 at all. And that guy wasn't that sharp. No. He was just rude, and he was willing to say certain things, which means there's an illusion. We got to take a break, but when there's an illusion that when you are saying things that other people are not willing to say, that it gives you the illusion of speed. Comedians who, like rude comedians or crowd work comedians know this very well. Thank you, Steven. Thanks for the happy birthday from Drew and Steven. Thanks, guys. There's a tendency when you see a comedian who's on stage and he's messing with the crowd and he's going person to person and he's insulting people that he's saying things so fast. Oh my God, this guy's brain must work 1,000,000 miles a second. He's got a stored up bunch of things that he's going to say. But secondarily, it's civilization that is keeping you from saying those things, not that they didn't occur to you just as fast. He just has no filter between his brain and his mouth. And it gives you the illusion of speed. And so it's crucial that people recognize that people were giving Trump the benefit of the doubt all along. We got to take a break. We'll be back right after this. It's the Hal Sparks Radio program, Mega Worldwide on WCPT Radio, Chicago's Progressive Talk Birthday Edition. It's my birthday. And thank you for the love, everybody in the chat room. And thanks for our new patrons who are joining right now. I can hear it chiming in my ear. It's lovely. All right, so I wish I could bring that thing up, but I'm things are working, so I am hesitant. Yeah. Part of me wants to dive in and fix things, but it's streaming, and that's all we need to know right now. So I can. Let's see. This is a hard drive. Okay. Huh? I'm not touching anything. It's just this is my hard drive cable. It just looks aesthetically. It just.
Okay.
It's the aesthetics of it. I'm a Libra. What do you want? I have two.
What do Libras want?
Libra. I have two. I've got an on-off switch. It must be perfect and dignified and every little detail handled. Or if it's not going to be that, it can be a complete mess. That's it. I mean, that's literally how I vacillate in things. If I can't make it look like I want, huh? Thanks, babe.
You said vacillate.
Intensive care. Don't play with anything.
Oh, speaking of intensive care, I'm getting my flu shot after the show today.
Oh, that's interesting. Right on.
Yeah.
All right.
Life goes on.
Yes, it does.
Flu shot in the fall.
I guess so. Hashtag touching stuff, right? Joyeux anniversaire, Al Shari. Merci beaucoup, Al Sharp. Thank you. The epic hack story is huge. Oh, it's so good. It's just so good. It's so good.
Back in 20.
Okay, thanks. And some folks are Venmoing as well. I just noticed this on there. Hold on. Whoops. Thank you, Miranda. So nice. Thank you, Kelly. Mark, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Thanks a lot. Robert Reynolds, thank you so much for that one. And Tim.
Attention. Stop what you're doing. Because we're coming back to the
Nicholas
House Sparks
and Lynn,
Radio
thank you so
program,
much.
Mega Worldwide.
They went a little crazy with it, and I appreciate it.
Now let's get back with Hal Sparks' radio program, Mega Worldwide.
I was just going through people who are sending Venmo love. Usually our regulars, because I don't have the Venmo sign up on my like I normally do on the But
I don't know who Kimber is, but they like you.
Yes. I was scrolling past, and my friend Charlene, she's like, she opened for me on the road a lot. Charlene May, and she hasn't been doing a lot of shows lately because COVID was ransacking its way through her family, and her father passed away last week from COVID after and that I won't get too much into kind of her family politics. She talks about it on when she does stand up a lot, that they're not liberals. This is not a liberal family. And I don't know that he refused the vaccine or just decided not to get it, but he absolutely fits that demographic, let's just say, of folks that did it. And it's just heartbreaking that they ended up, that people have to say goodbye that way without being there in person, especially when it's your dad. And so I just want to send my love out to Charlene today, especially. I've messaged her and stuff. She's, I guess, with her family right now dealing with this. And
nobody deserves that.
No one. And it's why I, on and on, I want to say, like, there's a bunch of there's a lot of back and forth about people who won't take the vaccines and who refuse to, and, or they are the horse paste, and we all joke about the ivermectin ridiculousness and that kind of stuff. But in many ways, the jokes are there to remind people that their behavior and their thoughts and their actions in this situation are ridiculous. They are absurd and obscene and silly. Yeah. And you are endangering yourself and your loved ones when you don't take this kind of thing seriously. And when you pass, it will, as the flags in at the COVID memorial are a reminder of, and of course the friends that I know who have relatives who passed by this, it's the people you leave behind who didn't have that last moment with you, that didn't get to share that with you, and increasingly,
all the orphans.
Yeah, both parents dying in some cases, And as my mom's birthday is today, just like mine. My dad's birthday is on Tuesday, so we're all Libras. So there's never been an argument in that house. It's like we just calmly discuss things until they're done, and everyone gets heard. It's a little silly, but I'm not kidding. There really aren't that many arguments about stuff, about anything over the years, even when they're worth arguing over. And as my dad's going to be 81 on Tuesday, and luckily they're vaccinated. He's he's on dialysis, so he's going to get a booster. Yeah. The boosters were announced this week. That was also a big part of the news, and so he's in line for that. Other folks, there was this back and forth, and they were saying it was a big controversy about the CDC panel saying people under a certain age didn't need them, but the CDC head essentially overriding them and saying, no, for people in certain lines of work, namely frontline healthcare workers, they probably should be able to get them as well. And I think that applies to people who work in the public, such as myself and, performers who are out in public and you're dealing with large crowds. Because then we saw this kind of false negative thing happen at the View this week when Kamala Harris was supposed to be speaking with them. They had two of the hosts. Ultimately, it was a false positive, but they had two of the hosts with a live audience there, by the way. And the vice president was going to show up with a live audience. And, and she... I guess she technically is under the number they were suggesting age-wise. But because of her interaction, the volume of humans you're interacting with should be a major factor in this, whether or not you work in a hospital or not. And that, I'm aware of this because my, just if I'm going to go see my dad in a couple weeks, and take the grandkid to see him on a long weekend, that kind of idea or something, or have Thanksgiving coming up, having that safety around it, making sure that you're vaccinated, but also that the people you're going to go see are vaccinated, that they're not going to bring in a side variant that's messing with everybody. That distinction, that there's a bank shot that I think a lot of people just kind of disregard on the right, in that, I'm healthy, I'm not going to get this. And yet, knowing full well they're surrounded by people with comorbidities that supposedly are their loved ones, their friends.
Yeah.
And now you've got stories coming out about them attempting to, people attempting to remove their relatives from the hospital, take them out of the emergency room after they
to what end?
To keep them from being intubated or getting and at this point I'm not quite sure why, other than getting them the ivermectin, because there's this belief that they're being poisoned, that these four
that's what we're doing. We're getting them into the emergency rooms, and we are going out of our way to kill them.
You're that important, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and part right. Four of the the radio DJs who passed away, who were anti-vaxxers, that Howard Stern was mocking, and made it in the news that he was kind of calling these guys out and laughing about that fact. And again, it's why I just don't wish it on anybody, because of it's not the person that makes this decision, it's the people around them who didn't need to see them die just because they're stupid, just because they're crazy. Crazy and stupid should not be capital offenses, no matter what. But you've got these situations where people are trying to snatch their relatives out of hospitals because they want to get them ivermectin, and they believe that they're being poisoned because they believe these four radio hosts have been poisoned. They didn't die of COVID. This is the Pentaveret and George Soros and all these people working to create a one world government by wiping out.
It's when professional wrestling mindset becomes reality.
Right. Everyone, it's very distinct ideas of who's a heel and who's on your side, and anyone can turn at any time. This is overall. And you're going to see this play out as the fall comes in, because now we're getting into the cold and flu season, where there will be a spike related to this, because people will be, in a situation where, you're eating and living and you're moving less, you're eating, more sweets and other kind of stuff, things that affect the immune system overall, which is one of the reasons that we have the cold and flu season when we do. It's just the Christmas, Halloween, Thanksgiving effect, as it were, and the lack of activity that you had in the summer, the lack of vitamin D, all those kind of things that make you, from an immune standpoint, more susceptible to getting colds and flus and that kind of stuff. On top of the fact that these folks absolutely have the ability to get a vaccine, it works. They had a teacher this week who who passed away, and she wanted to get the vaccine and she couldn't in time. And this story comes out, and I have no idea why she couldn't. Yeah, it didn't seem to make any sense to me, the story as it came. We got to take a break. We'll be back right after this. It's the House Sparks Radio program, Mega Worldwide on WCPT Radio. For God's sakes, please get vaccinated. We've both been double shot. We're good.
Yeah.
You got to take care of yourself and those around you, for crying out loud. We'll be back right after this. And thank you again, guys, for the super chats. Oh my gosh, Kimber, thank you so much. And Moms, again, thank you so much for the super chats, you guys. This is really lovely. We'll be back right after this. It's the House Sparks Radio program, Mega Worldwide. I'm trying to find the that. Oh, I forgot about Rudy Giuliani getting kicked to the curb from Fox News as well. He found he was banned for 3 months and didn't know it. Oh yeah. Oh, that's good. We'll do that when we come back too. That's a lot of fun. I don't. Oh God. Oh, and he was on Greg Kelly's show talking about it. See if this, okay. Hold on. Oh, I didn't want, no. Connect. Okay. Turn off my Bluetooth. I didn't want that. Turn this up. Here you go. See if you can.
That can be so jarring when you accidentally turn off the Bluetooth. Like, why did everything stop?
Yeah. Corroborating what I gave to the New York Post. Every time they tell you the New York Post was accurate, I was accurate. Because I gave the New York Post all their information.
That's Rudy?
Yeah. Here you go. This is...
Good. What's the problem between you and Fox?
I don't know. They haven't given me a reason. They just said I'm banned. The last 2 weeks, they basically every night have had a report corroborating what I gave to the New York Post. Every time.
Yeah, that's what's happening. When did anybody ever say the New York Post was accurate? Exactly. The truth isn't the truth. Right. In Cook County, you can pull up the records online if there's a question. So fake cards. Insofar as the Connie, are you talking about vaccination cards? Starting Monday, I'm going to be begging for a booster. My housemate is high risk. My work is 20 to 1, as in 20 being unvaxxed, and the 1 is me. Ugh. Hoping I go with my housemate to get one. Most of the time, you can. You know, all this back and forth about it is very strange because, quite frankly, everybody. Like, if you call up, CVS and request a booster, they're going to say yes. You know, they'll just schedule you. There's so much.
Damien Perdue of Think Theory Radio, Saturdays at 6 p.m. You're listening to Hal Sparks' radio program, Mega Worldwide.
Oh, I thought there was going to be like a new one every break. I was so excited.
You want more, Hal? We'll give you more.
Hal Sparks' radio program, Mega Worldwide on Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820. Hoo-yah!
Welcome back to the show. It's a lovely birthday show. It's just it's very relaxing today. I don't want to get too far into the heavy stories, but I will share another thing that happened this week that brought us all a little bit of joy. These little like sprinklings of things. You know what I mean? We just come in a little bit. It's not going to change. Is the world changing? No. Is it? Finally, there is some minor justice in the world. Rudy Giuliani has been banned from Fox News for the last 3 months. He found out the night before 9/11 when they wouldn't schedule him to come on to talk about, to say a noun and a verb in 9/11. On Newsmax Friday, Giuliani complained that he's not allowed on Fox News anymore to discuss Hunter Biden and that the network hasn't given him a full reason why. What's the problem between you and Fox? I don't know. They haven't given me a reason. They just said I'm banned. Well, that's a sign that
Who asked him that question?
Greg Kelly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the angriest man on television. Don't get me started on Greg Kelly, because we've gone. I mean, no one hates America more than Greg Kelly right now. Nobody. It's like right now, Greg Kelly looks at America like an ex who just won't stop dating his friends. It's just brutal, right? So, and this is no surprise, but the interest, obviously him finding out because they didn't book him on 9/11, which has just been a habitual knee-jerk reaction.
It's a no-brainer.
And an important part of his brand going, into this. How do you even have a business if you're Rudy Giuliani if you can't, noun, verb, and 9/11 every time somebody brings you up? And the problem is probably not that he would be on. First of all, he can't come on to talk about Hunter Biden's laptop because that entire thing fell apart and continues to fall apart. It continues to be garbage. I don't believe it exists. What laptop? I don't want to hear about someone got a copy of the hard drive and found this. No. I want to see the actual laptop. I don't want to see some concocted hard drive that the Russians put together in Ukraine and sold to Rudy Giuliani for $5 million when the asking price was originally $3 million. I'm tired of it. Right. I'm done with pretending that there's actually some there when there is absolutely not. There just isn't. They hacked Burisma. They got some real emails from him there. They probably hacked his phone at some point and got pictures out of his phone a long time ago. They used that and other stuff that they got from other places and concocted it together, made a deepfake version of a hard drive, and then shopped it around to see who wanted to buy it. And they sold it to Rudy Giuliani for above asking price. That's how it shook down. So and the way they get you, ask John Podesta or anybody in the Hillary Clinton email scandal or any of that stuff. By the way, they never got into her server. For all the talk about Hillary Clinton's server, right? The server is the big thing. Did anybody ever actually break into her server? It was more secure than the State Department. They got Petraeus's email. They got Colin Powell's emails. They never got Hillary's. Interesting. It just, except the ones that she gave and whatever. Anyways, we could retread that whole thing forever. But the fact that, they won't let Rudy on there to quote unquote talk about Hunter Biden's laptop anymore is because they know there's no there. And he's never going to produce it. And he's always lying. And then you find out there was this story in Peril, in the book Peril, which is an interesting read. And for a lot of folks, I think, in all honesty, if you follow the news, you know what's in it. There's not a lot in there that you're not going to know. But when it comes to, I'm going to see if I can look it up right now. As far as, there it is. So, and I also, I pre-ordered I'll Take Your Questions Now, the Stephanie Grisham tell-all as well, which is,
oh boy,
prurient as you go. But I made some notes. Lindsey Graham had sent his lawyer, who worked on the Judiciary Committee with him all the time to look over things, these memos from Rudy Giuliani about the hacked election and the fake votes and the dead people and the underage people and yada yada yada. And it's all in chapter 41 of the book. If you do get it and you want to check it out, you can kind of jump around if you follow the news in there. But this the guy that he sent it to, that Graham sent it to, his name was a guy named Lee Holmes. He's the chief counsel on the Judiciary Committee that Lindsey Graham works with. And Rudy sent this 20-page memo with 39 names on each page that are dead people that voted. And obviously this is a sign of fraud. Holmes starts looking into this and basically finds out that, these dead people voted. They were alive when they voted, and then they died before Election Day. They voted, and then they died. People do that all the time. Your vote, I personally believe your vote should count if you voted when you were alive.
Yeah.
Even if you die before Election
Day.
If
you voted legally while alive, your vote counts.
Right. And by the way, there's no, and they all voted for Biden. There's no even idea that these weren't just old Trump voters, right? Fox watching Trump voters in an old folks home. Robert Drakeford, for example, was 88 years old and got a ballot on September 18th. The ballot was returned 5 days later, and he died on November 2nd, according to the document. Another old person had voted and died, proving nothing, even if the document was accurate, and there's obviously no way to no reason to verify that. Giuliani had said in his memo to Graham that the data was definitive, and Holmes came up with it was a reckless claim. They include the actual memos that are being sent in the book, like sections of them. They don't do the whole lists of all the names, but Giuliani sent a second memo to this, and I'll read a portion of it. This is to Senator Lindsey Graham from Rudolph Giuliani, RE, voting irregularities, impossibilities, and illegalities in the 2020 general election, dated January 4th, 2020. Introduction. The 2020 U.S. general election had several abnormalities that contributed to multiple irregularities, which raises concerns about the integrity of the election. Somebody's getting paid by the syllable. The concerns span multiple states and have consistent patterns in each of the states. Yes, Biden won. That's the pattern. Trump's unpopular.
I'm starting to hone in on a pattern here.
Yes. The concerns span multiple states. United States laws, as well as the laws of each of the states, set specific standards for who is eligible to vote and how and when votes may be legally cast. The information below details proven fallacies that invalidate the vote count and outcome of each of the respective states. Per your request, this memorandum is limited to traditional voter fraud in a sample of contested states and does not discuss machines, algorithms, and technological manipulation. So he sends him this memo with a list of accused voter fraud, and then sent him a PowerPoint presentation, independent analysis conducted by expert CPAs and Ivy League, which is exactly that, the mathematical analogies. Algorithm stuff that he's been talking about. They said that there were at least 27,713 illegal votes counted in Georgia's election. Holmes wondered who were these unnamed brainiac experts that Giuliani kept citing. The total is more than twice the 11,779 vote margin that gave Biden the state, which is exactly why, and you got to think about this, is January 4th. This is when, this is around the time when Trump is insisting that they just find these votes for me. There's 27,000. You don't have to get all of them. Just give me the 17,000. And for all the people who think that his phone call to Raffensperger is a slam dunk legally, you have to understand that Trump, at his very root, is a moron with an easily manipulated ego. And Rudy Giuliani is too. And so what you have is a moron whispering in the ear of another moron. And so the trickle-down moron effect is that Trump could claim that he believed Giuliani when he said these things. That Giuliani just would not shut up about this stuff. And if you read any of the books about those times, Giuliani is always talking about this. There's so much massive voter fraud, and we have all these affidavits, and it's all proof, and it's all real, and it's all that. And at a certain point, Trump's brain is so doughy and accepting of anything that benefits him. Like he can,
and that's a compliment.
Yes. It's porous, to say the very least. That anybody even suggests, a possibility where he could win in a situation where he's losing, he's going to want to believe it and dive full in on it. And apparently, at this point, he was in full-on Nixon screaming at paintings mode. So where Giuliani might know full well in that 6-page memo that came out this week also that pointed to the fact that Pat Cipollone and people in the White House all knew that this was garbage. They knew that there was no voting irregularities. They knew everything was fine, and that this was something that Giuliani was selling to Trump, and Trump was more than willing to buy. Mm-hmm. He was getting high on Giuliani's supply in that regard. That ultimately, they could look past this. Trump could look past this because he willfully wanted it to be true. And in every circumstance where you've got you think Trump's going to be dragged in front of a court where they go, you tried to foment a revolution, he's got a dozen outs, according to this book and others, where he full on believed that he had won because he's a lunatic.
Wow.
I mean, this is...
He's a lunatic and had a lot of people telling him very convincingly to him
right.
that it happened.
That's right. And so he's always been willing to throw people under the bus for a very long time. Like, that's never been a problem for Trump. And in this particular case, this is Giuliani has been Hal Sparks, Rudy is a leaker. Somebody's saying yes, he leaks from his temples. This is Trump's out right here. In Peril, in these other books, in these stories around it, you can clearly see them painting a picture of a man spiraling downward. And right now, if you look at his behavior, he holds it together. I think I told people we got to take a break, but I knew Patty Davis back in the day, and we watched the Republican National Convention in '92 together when her dad spoke for the last time, when Reagan gave his last speech to the RNC for Bush, trying to help him get reelected against Clinton. And in that speech, he kept saying, all right, all right, all right, all right, every time they started doing big applause moments. And the reason was because his dementia was getting so rough that he was afraid it was going to get away from him. And if he started to wander off his speech, he would never come back. And he knew that. And he was scared about that. And he'd been talking to his doctor about it. And they said that speech took a year off his life because of the stress of doing it. Yeah. And yet the RNC just, had to trot him out to try and, get the old magic back because they saw that it was slipping away. Trump is in sort of a similar situation. If he gets up there and he just can say his ramble and stay there and nobody interrupts him in any major way, he'll do what's there and he'll kind of find his way back to the teleprompter. But I don't expect tonight people will be seeing the Trump magic that they liked in 2015 at this rally, and it's just going to get worse. Year over year, time after time, it's going to get worse. We got to take a break. We'll be back right after this. It's the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide, on WCPT 820. And if you go to WCPT820.com, you can listen to all your favorite liberal talkers on there through the website. You can program it on your phone, and then you plug your phone in your car, and off you go. It's super easy. It's amazing. We'll be back. Can't say I feel like we missed out regarding that year. I wish there was a hell so Reagan could rot in it. I liked Peril. I didn't want to give Woodward my money, but it was really good, and I liked learning more about Biden too. Yeah, the stuff about Biden, they vacillate between the two of them, and it's the painful thing is it's going to sound like propaganda to the right when they read Peril because Trump's just a frigging mess, and Biden's
Hey, Hal?
Yeah.
You're going kind of in and out of like a digital staticky sort of sound. Like it's clear and then it kind of goes into that for a little while every now and then.
Sorry. Yeah, that's a clean feed thing. I'll restart. I'll reload the page and see if that helps. Sometimes it gets all caught up.
Like it gets clear sometimes when you're talking though too.
Okay, sorry. Hold on. Reloading that. Just restarting this. Hopping back in. Okay, I'm jumping back in. Chicago, it'll connect with them. It takes me. Oh, Natalie, thank you. Still
way better.
Okay, great. Yeah, sometimes I just have to reload the page because clean feed. That's where it starts getting odd. After a while, it's like it gets tired or something when you've got too much stuff going on.
Isn't that how everything gets to Chicago?
Do you want me to break up the clean feed that's happening during the show?
Say again, sorry.
Do you want me to break?
Is
up
that how
your flow
everything
and
gets
interrupt you
to
if that's
Chicago?
happening?
Hold on, Chicago's talking. That's what yeah. Say again,
Hal,
Chicago.
Do you want me to break up your flow, if that's happening during a segment?
Yeah, you can let me know. Yeah, if it's really rough, I can. We can, especially if we can take a break or something. I mean, we've got very little time left. Hopefully, it'll be clear for the rest of the show. But if that ever happens in future, yeah, you can just let me know. And I'll do what I can.
Yeah, because that fixed it right away. We're coming back in 15 seconds.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Sometimes it's the reload of the page. Sometimes it's other stuff. It's so hard to tell,
I know I'm only on 1 day a week. I get it. I'm gonna have to jump on GarageBand and start sawing something together. This is the House Bar Show.
To answer your question, Johnny,
and a guitar
yeah,
note,
Chicago's
and
playing
then
right now.
With progressive
and all the, yeah, it's
back
gonna be
from
good.
the break,
Hey,
but
Hal,
yes, clean
did
things
you mean
out.
something like this?
This is the
I'll
House
ask
Bar
it again
Show.
later.
And a guitar note, and then
With progressive.
and all. Yeah, it's gonna be good.
The Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
Yeah,
Right.
it's gonna be good.
It is. This would be one of the days to play the happy ending song, but if we started right now, we wouldn't even get through it by the time the show was over because we got very little time. There's a lot of stuff I was telling Johnny during the break, but there's a lot of stuff in the book Peril that to the right wing will come across as like propaganda supporting Biden, but really it's just them reporting on what he's like with his own people, what the process was in him deciding to run for president, who he was talking to, his conversations with James Clyburn and Clyburn's wife, making the call that he's the only one that can win. It's a lot of it's very touching. I mean, his family basically corralled him. There's a brutal story in there about the intervention they had with Hunter.
Yeah.
Before all this, before even the presidential run came up, and he, it was like paint by numbers. He comes in, there's people waiting. He realizes it's not just dinner. He storms out. Biden follows him down the driveway, gives him a hug, and is trying to, and then he agrees to go into rehab, and then 2 days later calls an Uber, gets out of rehab, and disappears and goes on a binge for 3 days, which is what addicts do, and it's heartbreaking when people go through that stuff. And anybody who knows addicts or knows anybody who's been through that kind of stuff, you have incredible sympathy for how broken they feel. They feel like they're letting everybody down. Half the time, it's these kind of binges in some ways are like suicide missions where they're like, maybe I'll just die this time and I won't be anybody's problem. It's just heartbreaking, and that's clearly where he was. You've got, Biden and Jill trying as best they can to deal with this son that's, on a downward spiral. This is the kind of thing, especially, you hear about this in well-known families, the errant son that's a bit of a problem. Like Tom Hanks's anti-vaxxer kid comes to mind a little bit. Obviously, Hunter Biden, like young Hollywood, that kind of stuff. Those things, those happen in well-known families a lot, and it's a recurring issue. But also, it happens to average families all the time, especially with the opioid epidemic that's been going on. And I think what's lost on people's criticism about Hunter Biden all during the thing, which is, there's a big story in there about how Lindsey Graham and Biden used to be friends, and he hasn't spoken to him since the election because of how he talked about Hunter Biden. Because he knew him. He knew his son, and and he hasn't been able to forgive him for how he spoke about his son.
Sure.
And the like. I think they've misread the whole Hunter Biden story ultimately, because I think there's a lot of families in this country around the opioid epidemic that have gone through that heartbreak, that know that it's horrifying and impossible. We've lost so many lives to it across the board that there's a sympathy for the Biden family about that. And certainly, beyond even the fact that, Bo's brain cancer and him dying and his father deciding to, try, for the cancer moonshot while not running again, and then, deciding to run again after the whole family came to him. There's a lot of fascinating stuff that we'd heard kind of tangentially stories about, right?
Right.
But the book basically vacillates back and forth between, Mark Milley dealing with the fact that Trump is losing his mind, Trump losing his mind, and screaming at everyone to find him the votes, just insisting that they're out there and they must be found, and that this is all, it's rigged and terrible, and you're not doing your job, and for America, and his, just berating Pence and all this kind of stuff. It's a fascinating view inside there. Oh, Pauline, thank you so much for the birthday wishes.
Aww.
From Pauline and Corey and Nick. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. And it gives you a way more sympathetic view of even Biden that a lot of people have. That said, I guess one of the bigger pieces of news, and we'll see how this plays out over the last week, but the migrant camp under the bridge in Del Rio, Texas, has been cleared out. 12,000 Haitians, mostly families, have been brought into the country. Of the 15 or so thousand that were gathering at any one time, 12,000 of them have been brought into the United States. Another 3,000 were directly expelled back to Mexico because they were, just working aged men by themselves. You're not going to get into the country if that's what if you're just trying to, go to America to get a job to send money back home, and you're the male, so they think you can survive the trek and all that kind of stuff. You don't have a shot. Yeah. You're going to get sent home. And then another 6,000 were deported back to Haiti via these flights. And the Haitian envoy quit this week because he didn't like how people were being treated, at the border in that regard. And still, there's no, what's increasing is the United States has a bit of one and needs a better strategy to help Haiti get back on its feet to some degree, but there's almost no appetite in the electorate for it, because it is effectively a failed state right now. And it's very, and it's incredibly dangerous for the people that are there, and a lot of them are just scattering to nearby countries hoping to go back as soon as things normalize, just leaving. Right now it's just basically a gang war is happening, not even a civil war, which is heartbreaking. And so there is, again, in terms of how do you repatriate people back to Haiti to help with that process, right? They shouldn't be evacuating out of their country if they can actually play a part and, work and all the other things that they need to have done there. Whether they're government officials, whether they're private citizens, just, who could be helping to rebuild or clear rubble or whatever in their own country, but that have just left because it seems hopeless. If you can help stabilize the situation, maybe there's a chance that they'll go back, they'll have something to go back to. None of it is going to be, easy. And there are a lot of those kind of things that are part and parcel to being president that you don't get to skip. No one gets to skip those moments as president. They land on your desk. There's no good solution, and it's on you. The only difference is that in Trump world, there is no version of the Haitian migrant camp that's been there for the last week that has now been cleared, where 12,000 of the people actually get into the country and are allowed to work with NGOs or relatives that they have in the country temporarily until they can file for asylum or any of those kind of things. And there is a difference. Benny Loco in our chat room. Can't we all just get a bong? That's a rallying cry. But we obviously the big thing on Monday we'll be watching will be the reconciliation package and the infrastructure bill. Will they be on parallel tracks? Will the vote on the infrastructure bill, the bipartisan one, go through? Because here's the part, and I'm going to lay this out there to give everybody a little bit of to pique your curiosity over the weekend. There could be a chance that Republicans, because it is a bipartisan bill, who have been lockstep against everything in the House because of McCarthy, decide to end run around the progressives when the vote comes up by making up for those loss of votes on the Republican side, thereby passing the smaller infrastructure bill, the roads and bridges and broadband infrastructure.
That'd be amazing.
Bill, and then it would leave the 3.5 trillion and the ability to raise the debt ceiling for another day, and would be part of that workout. I wouldn't rule that out. Somebody's asking me, how does it feel to be 29? It feels great, actually. I will say at 52, it is nice to walk around and see the occasional 29-year-old, and I'm like, I'm in better shape than they are. That's it. You feel good. You do. You really do. All right, we're at the end of the show. I gotta go enjoy my birthday in the city. We're gonna go have a meal and walk around a little bit in the sunshine, and then we're going to go to the symphony, and it's going to be great. And
spray some mace at some Capitol guards.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then we signed up. The list is long, so we're gonna Sunday. We're scheduled to do it.
That's
we had
not till tomorrow. Okay, it's a shame you couldn't get it on your birthday.
Yeah, 5:30 a.m. or 8 p.m.
Yeah,
and that was no. And I was like, nah. So, anyways, everybody, thank you so much for your love and support and happy birthday wishes today. I can't tell you how moved I am by it. Thank you for subscribing to the show. Thank you to all our new folks on here. And thanks to everybody in Chicago. It's nice to share my birthday with you guys as well. We'll see you next time. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. Bye. There we go. Thanks, Chicago.
Thank you. Happy birthday.
Thanks. Cheers. See you later. Okay, now I have one less digital thing to worry about for a couple minutes.
Yay.
And then it's so good. Mark, thank you for staying a member. I'll enjoy the rest of your DC trip. Thanks so much, Mark P. Yeah, and we're just gonna go get our stuff together and go out. It's a beautiful day here. Like the weather's been fantastic. It's perfect walking weather.
That's the best.
Yeah, apparently Nancy Pelosi goes to a pub right over here called the Dubliner, and we went there last night and had Irish stew and dessert. Barbie, thank you so much. Happy birthday, Hal. I hope you and Summer have an awesome time tonight. Thank you for all you do. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I thank you guys so much. I will see you on Monday for the regular show. Obviously, I'm not going to be live streaming the Trump thing tonight because nobody needs to torture themselves like that on their birthday.
Nobody
Just
needs
wrong.
to.
Nobody.
Just wait for Monday, everybody.
Have you get to see the Udvar Hazy Smithsonian? Not yet. That's on our list of things tomorrow as well. Some of the stuff we just couldn't get to in the timing of it. 727 patrons right now. We'll get to 1,000 at some point. We seem to be like steady around 720 something all the time. It seems to rise and lower all the time as a rotating thing, but we'll get there. Gift opening Monday. That's a great idea, John. Q Publicans think all 12,000 Haitians move around as one entity. Yes, they do. There's a big horde of them moving through the deserts and that kind of stuff. They're basically at home right now hoping one of them commits a crime so they can go, Joe Biden let this Haitian immigrant in who murdered this,
now I get to shoot him, right?
Yeah, exactly. And on that note, love you much, Johnny. I'll let you go. We're gonna bail out.
Love you too.
Thanks.
Don't shoot any Haitians.
I will not. I promise. It's
me
not
either.
Yeah, it's not legal to shoot any immigrants for another 2 weeks. The season doesn't start. Yeah. So weird. You're such a weird man. I love it. All right. I do, absolutely. All right. Well, take care. Love you. And
travel safe.
All right.
Love
Thanks.
The summer.
Okay. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
And there we go. All right. And then he hangs up. Hi, everybody in the chat room. Oh, this is the Arizona audit being replayed up here. Oh, I got blurry all of a sudden. It just decided to. Why is it? It didn't know where to. It's not focusing, and I can't lean. It's too far away for me to. There you go. That's a little better. Maybe it'll refocus now. Hi. Anything? No. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go. Thanks everybody for joining us today. Appreciate it. The world needs now is love. Absolutely. Yes, I have my birthday suit underneath my clothes. It's a clown show behind me. Clearly, yeah. It's so fun. It's just I've been enjoying that all weekend. Thank you, Thomas. Appreciate it. 12,000 Haitians just bought the home next door. Everyone. Oh, thanks. Oh, see, there's now on this page I've got the thing, but I was afraid to put it up on the other page and try to add it without it crashing everything because I had Skype up at the same time. It's just lunacy. Anyways, I'm gonna sign off, you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for all the birthday wishes. I will see you guys on Monday. Bless you. Take care of yourselves. Have a great weekend, and much love. I can't tell you how moved I am, guys. It means a lot.